Master Duel, but only using N rarity cards. This is the Master Duel N format, and this is its September 2023 tier list. Let's jump right into it. In tier 7 we have a ton of decks that are near unplayable. We have Blackluster Soldier, Ediknister, DDD, Dino Wrestler, Fire Fist, Skier, Pac-Man, Fish Control, Yosenju, Goki, Cosmo, Spell Counter, Ritual Good Stuff, Ritual Beasts, Tellarknight, Earth Machine, Sylveon, Turn Skip FTK, Karakuri, Burning Abyss, Alien, Vylon, Abyss Actors, and Zephyr. Some of these decks have good cards, but it's just not enough. Blackluster Soldier, for example, has Beginning Night and Evening Twilight Night. DDDs have Headhunt, Dark Contract with the Witch, Dark Contract with Errors, and a really good Floodgate, Dark Contract with the Eternal Darkness. But it's just not enough, even with that many good cards. Dino Wrestlers have a good level 2 tuner that can special summon itself, but you are better off just playing level 2 good stuff. Yosenjus have Yosenju Misak, which is a great card in any Pendulum deck, but you don't need to play a dedicated Yosenju deck just for him. Gokis have Goki the Solid Ogre, which is a towers, but he needs really much investment. Karakuri has Karakuri Clock, which is a board wipe, but there are better cards to play instead. Alien has Alien Brain, which is just a reptile support card, so you don't have to actually play aliens to use this. And Abyss Actors have Abyss Actor Extras, which is a fine card because he's a free special summon, but you can just play him in any other deck as well. Now let's move on to tier 6. The decks in tier 6 all have some kind of gimmick, but sometimes it just needs way too much investment, or other decks do the same but just do it better. Insect Good Stuff is probably the best deck to use Sonic Stun in. Monarchs still got Monarchs Erupt. Hazy Flames got Manticore, a 1 tribute monster that's on 2300 attack and cannot be targeted. Earth Pile has Vernisylph of the Flowering Fields. This can, for example, special back a hero kit from your graveyard and add a Cosmic Compass from your grave. It's a really good card, but we only have one legal Vernisylph and it's not really worth building a deck around it. Insectors got Zect Conversion, a decent Battle Trap, but it's a Battle Trap. There are better cards to play in your deck. Warrior Good Stuff got Battle Guard Howling and some other nice warrior support cards, but you could just play them in good warrior archetypes. Rocks got Researcher, Block Golem, and Gaia played the Earth Giant. Fables have Dianiera, which is a spell negate, and there aren't really any other spell negates in this format. Crawlers got Deus Ex Crawler, but you can't force your opponent to pop your crawlers, and Deus Ex Crawler can just be splashed in other decks. Kleast got Recreate, but they only got 4 legal names. Super Heavy Samurais got Super Heavy Samurai Transporter, which can special summon a Ras Disciple to your opponent's side of the field. This basically is branded, but in the Master Duel N format, but it's really unlikely that you actually pull off this combo, and it only works going first. The deck really doesn't have a good plan going second, and not being able to play any spells or traps really hurts the deck. And Ammophages are all Buster Locks, but we only have 4 legal names, and they really eat up your resources. You will not be able to keep them on board for many turns. I wouldn't blame you if you lost the round against the deck in tier 5, but I don't think you would win a tournament with any of these decks. Let's take a closer look what all of these decks got going for them. Naturia got Naturia Blessing, Naturia Sunflower, a great monster negate. Antjaw, this isn't once per turn and it isn't once per copy. Naturia Mosquito, this can create a lock and can be a win condition. And they got Dragonfly, this can either be kinda hard to out or it can just gain attack and become a beatstick. Urex got Urek Titano, this is a great boss monster. And they have Urek Brachis, this can stall a bit. Furhire's got Donpa, Reckon and Rookie Furhire, but it's better to play them with some other cards instead of playing them pure. I really like Dangers as well. Danger's got Danger, Feat of Strength. If you equip this to a Dogman, you get an over 3k beatstick that cannot be destroyed by card effects and can attack twice. And you can use Second Expedition into Danger to, as a quick effect, discard a Danger Dogman on your opponent's turn to have basically a searchable Wall of Disruption. X-Saber's got a Rota, Mass Removal, a Solemn Strike, and they can float. Vampires got a double summon and they are great at snowballing. Gishkis got a big card pool and they got a 1 card rank 4. Rika's got a Searcher that can revive itself and they got Targeting Negation. Gladiator Beast has a really big card pool. They got an in-archetype trade-in and 2 good counter traps. Spirits got basically 2 more copies of Grand Mole. They got Hebo and Rasetsu. Both of these bounce monsters, and Spirit Invitation and Shinoboard Salvation are great removal cards as well. Nephthys got Sacred Phoenix of Nephthys, and they benefit from Wind and Spellcaster support. Plant Good Stuff got Shirobime, Marina, and Talaya. If you get all of these on the field, it creates a funny lock, as well as Rose Girl. This is just good for the grind game. I already made a video about this, so I won't be going much deeper into this, but Elemental Hero Knosp cannot be attacked if you control another Elemental Hero Knosp, and it can attack directly. So it's a win con and it's a card to stall, all in one card. You can use Spiritual Forest to prevent any plant monster from being destroyed by battle. The first time it would be destroyed by battle each turn as well. Dragon Maids got Dragon Maid Welcome, and we got 𝐓𝐈𝐄𝐓 and Natyal as summonable Dragon Maid monsters. Battery Man got AAA, this is a 1-card rank 4, and they got Battery Man Charger, Quick Charger, and Portable Battery Pack. All great cards in the grind game. Blackwings got some great cards. They got Chris, the Crack of Dawn, a low budget version of Khalud, and a better version of Mirror Force. Black Sonic banishes, and you can activate it from the hand. Sadly, even though Blackwing has many monsters that can special summon themselves, there aren't any good synchro monsters in this format, so you don't benefit from special summoning that many Blackwing monsters. Performer Pal got Odd Eyes Synchron and Seal Eel, but you can just play these in different decks. And now Tier 4. All the decks in Tier 4 are kinda disappointing because they are just not solved yet, or they are missing that one special card that can turn them into a great deck. Ignites are an interesting case. They have many legal names, they can search for Fire Warriors, and they are really similar to Metal Foes, so everybody thought that this would be the next big deck after Metal Foes got hit, but there just isn't anybody having any success with Ignites. Ghost Tricks are my personal favorite in this tier. You can create an interesting lock with Neko Mutsume and Ghost Trick Knight. Ghost Trick Skeleton is an alt win con. Ghost Trick Ghoul can become a big beatstick, and Ghost Trick Scare is basically another copy of Canadia. Arrow Mages have Spell Trap removal, a rare thing in this format, Dried Winds, monster removal, and a way to stall in time. Zombie Good Stuff got Samurai Skull, a great card to combo with Plague Spreader Zombie, Revive King Hades, Devouring Sarcophagus, this is great to steal your opponent's monsters, and Zombie Master can special summon back Bone Crusher or Crow Tengu for a rank 4 play and monster or spell trap removal. Phantasm Spiral can be played either as an engine or as a pure deck. Spiral Battle is targeting destruction, Spiral Power is targeting negation, and Spiral Assault is actually an alt win con. You can play them with Umi, or you can play them with the Tenny Field spell. Starry Knight are probably the best deck to play Dragon's Bind in, a really decent floodgate. You also have an in-archetype Omni Negate and great searches. Fluffle's got surprisingly many names that are legal. You don't have any fusion monsters you can summon, but you got Fluffle Wings, Fluffle Bear, Toy Vendor, and Toy Parade has an interesting combo with Malevolent Sin. You can use Toy Parade to target the Malevolent Sin to attack multiple times in one turn, to either just OTK or make a turn 2 Pain Gainer. Dynamists benefit from generic water support, and they got some great names that are legal. Brachion is legal, Pteron is legal, Rush, Eruption and Powerload are legal as well. Fiends are probably the worst out of the good rank 2 engines in this format. Capshell is a decent card, Infernal Prodigy is a free summon, and the Malice Varus monsters are a okay rank 2 engine, but you can just play other engines instead. Ancient Warriors got Sang 1, this can create a lock or is removal, and Jiawen can recycle your east by south winds. Predator Plants got Predator Planet, a decent searcher, and they can basically kaiju away your monsters. This deck has a horrible flip monster matchup, but it's decent against decks that just end on one boss monster. Cyber's Good Stuff has Encode Talker, Shooting Code Talker, and Update Jammer. All of these are great monsters, but it's all gas and no brakes, and if you get stopped, then there's no coming back. Stall benefits from there not being much spell trap removal in this format. If you end on Synchro Zone, Fire Prison or Red Screen, your opponent can't attack, and then you can burn them over the course of multiple turns.
It's time to
look at the playable decks. Decks in Tier 3 are all really good, and they are distinctively better than the other decks I've listed so far. Paleozoic, for example, is probably the best and most splashable engine in all of N format. Canadia is the Book of Moon, Helosegenia can halve the attack of a monster on the field, and Oleonoidus is much needed spell trap removal. And all of these can special summon themselves back as a water level 2 non-effect monster. You benefit from so many good generic support cards, it's crazy. You also have Morella, this can send Mischief of the Gnomes to the graveyard to have a floodgate live. Gadgets are really good in the grind game. You also have Crusher Run to support Earth Machines, Machina Defense Perimeter to lock your opponent into only attacking specific monsters and add back resources from your graveyard, and Infinite Track Anchor Drill can special summon any gadget from the hand. Gadgets are really fun and you can either play them in piles or splash them in any deck that doesn't really need a normal summon, for example Tenny, or you can play them in Pendulum decks. Six Samurai got some really good cards. The only thing that's stopping them is their kind of lack of special summons. Xian's Advisor, for example, can declare a monster type, and while it is face up on the field, monsters with the declare type cannot declare an attack or be special summoned. If you play against single typed decks, this can sometimes just be a GG. You also have Triple Impact, this is decent removal. Xian's Dojo can special summon a 6-7 from the deck. Double-Edged Sword Technique can special summon 2 6-7s from the graveyard. Dual Wheel can bounce up to 2 cards on the field, and you benefit from generic warrior support. Phantom Knights are interesting. The traps aren't that great, but some of them can special summon themselves as a level 2 monster. And the Phantom Knights of Cursed Javelin becomes a quick effect if it has a Phantom Knights card as material. This single fact puts this deck in tier 3. Cursed Javelin as a quick effect is a really good card and cannot be underestimated. You best play this in combination with Paleozoics because pure it is kinda hard to play and you should really just play the level 2 trap monsters. Mecha Phantom Beasts have Time Lord level protection if there's a token on your side of the field, and you can protect the tokens with Token Stampede. They also can increase their levels depending on the number of tokens on the field, so you can actually summon Xyz monsters with very high ranks kinda easily with this deck. Salmons are a pretty new addition to this tier list. You can play Infernal Queen Salmon and Terror King Salmon, and you don't even have to tribute summon them if you play a Legendary Ocean. Infernal Queen Salmon also floats into 5 tokens, which is really good. The vast amount of generic water support elevates this deck to tier 3. If I describe the decks in tier 2 to you, you might think that they would be worthy of tier 1, but trust me, the decks in tier 1 are even better than these. Still, I think one of the decks in tier 2 is probably gonna win the next tournament. Mech Knights, for example, are insane. With World Legacy Secret, World Legacy Key, and World Legacy Whispers, you can create a board where your opponent can't use any monster, spell, or trap effects. Mech Knights have one card though that stops them from being tier 1. Ally of Justice Quarantine is a card that completely counters the deck. As long as you have any normal summon that's bigger than 1700, you are fine though. Umi Control is a really good deck and has gotten some second place finishes in tournaments recently. Electric Jellyfish is either a monster or a spell negate. Amphibious Burgoth MK11 and TG Drillfish are good removal cards, and generic water support cards like Aquarium Stage and Sea Stealth Attack are just really good at helping the deck. Another piece of synergy, Sea Stealth Attack can protect Gingerbread House. This is really fun. Rank 2 Good Stuff has recently gotten so many good support cards. We now got Sprite Pixies, Sprite Carrot, Sprite Gamma Burst, Soul Scissors, Plague Spreader Zombie, and as I already mentioned, Cursed Javelin is a really good monster even if you don't have a quick effect on it. Time Lords are burn, but better. You can play burn if you got something like Mishion or Raffion, or you can just sit on the Time Lords because they are really good. Strike of the Monarchs can be an Omni-Negate and it can draw you cards. Dreidel Impact in combination with Card Trader can stop you from going -1 every turn. And Solomon's Lawbook can skip your own standby phase so that you don't have to shuffle back a Time Lord. Trap Monsters got Statue of Anguish pattern and both Tikis. What else do I have to say? This deck is really decent. Flip Good Stuff is good if you mainly play Subterrors and Tindangles. Tindangles got Nagel's Protection. This says that Tindangle monsters cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects. A really good card. You also have Tindangle Angel. This can, for example, summon back that one good Crawler flip monster, so you don't even have to play Crawlers to use it. Subterrors got Subterra Fiendus, Subterra Nemesis Archer, and Subterra Behemoth Stygo Kraken. Much needed spell trap removal. The deck is really hard to kill, and if you don't beat them by turn 3 or turn 4, then you probably lose. Beast's Good Stuff has got Melfi Ketty, Melfi Fanny, and Melfi Pony. These can help to special summon back Donpa and Reckon for removal every single turn and during your opponent's turn. Beasts also have Melfi Hide and Seek as recursion and protection. They got Ronin Raccoon Sardayu, a decent towers, Spiritual Forest to prevent them from being destroyed by battle, and Karis can banish 2 beasts from your graveyard to special summon Crusadia Regulex for a 1-card link 3. Magispectors got Bunbuku. Bunbuku is really good. Normal summon Bunbuku and either add a high scale or a low scale, and Magispectors can't be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Even though Magispectors are a hot contender for the best Pendulum deck, they get a hard counter in Poisonous Winds, and they are all really small, so you can easily beat over them. Metal Foes, once the best deck in the format and the sole reason for the Master Duel end format ban list, is now but a shell of its former self. Metal Foes counter can definitely never be unbanned, but I think that this deck deserves a bit more love. And now, Tier 1. These are the best decks in the end format. Salamangreat right now is probably the best deck in the end format. It combines the sheer power of Cyber's good stuff with the grind game of Salamangreat. You can play great Cyber's good stuff cards like G-Golem Rockhammerer and combine them with cards that are insane in the grind game, like Salamangreat Falco, Mole, Foxy, Fury of Fire, Salamangreat Recurrence, or Salamangreat Gift. Salamangreat Falco is just a great resource loop. Mole can shuffle back your resources from the graveyard and give you a draw. Foxy is spell trap removal. Fury of Fire can special 2 Salamangreats from your graveyard. Salamangreat Recurrence can add back 2 Salamangreat monsters from your graveyard. And Salamangreat Gift can send any Salamangreat monster from your deck to the graveyard and draws you cards. Salamangreat is a really hard matchup for most decks, and Salamangreat is itself a really good deck. I don't think that other decks can compete if they can't win the Salamangreat matchup. Hydralander piles have one big advantage. They can consistently summon Orbital Hydralander on turn 1. Orbital Hydralander is a non-targeting quick effect pop. This is really unheard of in the end format. Piles also have the tendency to OTK. They do this on every day of the week that ends with a Y. They play cards like Debris Dragon for 1 card rank 4s and a ton of free special summons to just crush you with big beat sticks. If they didn't beat you on turn 3 or turn 4, then you might still have a chance to win though. Infernoids have a really good Salamangreat and a really good pile matchup. They got good spell trap removal with Permaze and Pachulia. They got non-targeting banishing removal with Sistemas. They can destroy your opponent's extra deck with Siete. They can handloop your opponent with Piatti. All of these effects are crazy. Void Expansion also gives you a free monster each turn. Void Seer can make your stuff unaffected, and it has a graveyard effect that prevents your Infernoid monsters from being destroyed by a card effect. Void Feast can summon up to 3 Infernoid monsters from your deck, ignoring their summoning conditions, and all of the Infernoids are quick effect DD Crows. It's just really good if you want to stop your opponent from doing some fancy Salamangreat shenanigans in the graveyard, or if your opponent wants to summon back a level 4 from the graveyard for a rank 4 play if you play against Pile. The one problem that Infernoid has is that they need to get some names in the graveyard, otherwise their summoning condition kinda kills you in the grind game. Laundry Dragonmaid is by far the best card to get some cards in the graveyard, but if your opponent has a way to stop her, or you didn't open any ways to mill cards into the graveyard, then you might struggle a bit. Dangers and Chain Lightsworn Paladin can help with this as well, but Laundry Dragonmaid is just by far the best card to give you some mills. This is the full Master Duel end format tier list. If you want to find deck lists to any of the decks I mentioned, you can probably find them in the Master Duel end format Discord. A link can be found in the description below. We are hosting kinda monthly tournaments with pricing, and for the next tournament I'll be giving out pricing depending on which tier wins the tournament. It's gonna be really fun. I hope to see you on the Master Duel Discord server, but even if not, stay safe and have a nice day.